Hey guys, so I missed out on reviewing the past few fairy tale chapters because I was busy finishing up school. So yeah, some very interesting things have been happening in the series lately. Now, a couple weeks ago, I couldn't review this chapter, but I did speak my mind about it on Twitter. The chapter where Gajeel dies. Now, in my opinion, this was one of the best chapters in the series. In my opinion, something Mashima is really good at is handling character deaths, even though they don't happen very often. But Gajeel's death was very emotional. It finally felt like the Spriggan 12 were a threat. Here they are killing off a Dragon Slayer, one of the more important characters, like ever since near the beginning of the series. So many people love Gajeel, and it was really sad to see him go. But that's okay, because he's alive again! Oh yes, you know, Mashima killing off all those characters, making you all sad, but you know, it's okay because they're not really gone. He'll always find a way to bring them back. Oh my god. Okay, like, I didn't want Gajeel to die, to be honest. I felt like, oh, well, how the crap are they going to take down Agnologia if they're picking off the Dragon Slayers? So part of me is glad that he's okay, but also part of me is just like, well, then why did you kill him? And ever since his death, people were speculating that he would come back to life. But a lot of theories were coming up short because everyone's like, well, how would he even come back to life? Like, it seems like he's done. But conveniently, right before August was about to attack Natsu and them and completely wreck them, Eileen uses her magic ability, which honestly seems quite insane. She transformed the entire continent of Fiore. She warped it. So everyone in the kingdom gets transported to a different place and all of the locations just all get mixed together, blended, split apart, all this crazy stuff. So right before Gajeel was about to get sucked into the underworld, he gets sent away to somewhere safe. Only you, Mashima. Only you. Although until this chapter, I wasn't actually entirely sure that he was still alive because in the last chapter it showed him meeting Zera. If you haven't read Fairy Tail Zero, go do that because that will give you a lot more information on Zera. But basically, we saw her, I'm like, well, hold on, Zera was never, like, really real to begin with, and didn't she, like, disappear into nothing? So could it be that Gajeel is in some type of limbo or whatever? But apparently when Kana broke Mavis out of the crystal, her magic is like resetting and then all of a sudden Zera shows up. And I don't even know. But Zera doesn't have much time because once Mavis remembers Zera, all that crap's going to happen again. Zera will cease to exist. But luckily for the plot, she is telepathically sending all the guild members messages. They're like, Mavis needs help. Zeref is going to wreck her. Get back to the guild. But that's not all that happened. We see like a whole bunch of things are mixed together. Eileen is going after the royal family, who we haven't seen in a while. She turns the princess into a friggin' mouse. I have no idea what her powers are. Like, her powers seem so incredibly outrageous. It's kind of like when we saw Brandish for the first time, but now Brandish is just like, yeah, who even gives a crap? Like, she rearranged the entire country. Like, that is insane, and now she's just turning people into mice. Like, what even are her limits? Then we see her spot Urza, and she's like, scarlet hair, could it be? Okay, we've definitely danced around Eileen and Urza's relationship enough. It is time for a revelation, the big reveal. It's so painfully obvious at this point that they are related in some way that I'm just surprised it hasn't been revealed yet. People keep thinking she's Urza's mother. Personally, I could see more of a sister just because Eileen doesn't seem all that old. Or maybe that's just her mom's body and it's possessed by a demon or some crap. Also, I love how Natsu, Lucy, and Happy being separated from everyone, just everyone goes off in random directions scattered across the country. They still manage to run into Grey, Juvia, and Urza just like that. Alright, so the story right now for me is kinda meh. I don't really like how Gajeel's death was handled. I feel like if he was going to be brought back anyway, then why the crap do we even kill him? You could have had it so he was about to die and then they got teleported, because I mean, you know, that would still be a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, but at least most of the fan base wouldn't be convinced that he was dead. There was one small thing I liked, however, and that was when Gajeel realized he was still alive, and then he remembered all the stuff he said to Levi and he got all embarrassed. But still, it all kind of feels pretty meh. Although I am really interested to see what happens between Eileen and Urza. I mean, they're obviously related, but I still want to see what happens there, and whether or not she is going to attack them. I mean, there's just so many things going on right now. It's really hard to predict where this story is going, especially because of how unpredictable it has been lately with friggin' everything just changing. Like, how is this even going to affect, like, the future of Fiore? Like, everything is completely different now. And now Acnologia is somewhere else, you know, he finally showed up. He's like, yo, I'm Acnologia, let's start some shit up. And then she's like, no, boom. Now God only knows where he is. He's probably off of Gildart somewhere. So those are my thoughts on this week's chapter of Fairy Tail. The story is kind of weird now. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but only time will tell how it will eventually turn out. I'm still hopeful we're going to get some awesome stuff in the future. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.